G'day guys, Mr. Oz Adventure here, and I'm with you today to test ride and give my opinion on the 2015 Yamaha MT-09 Tracer. Tracer is the sports touring version of the MT-09 naked bike and is known in the USA as the FJ-09. The touring and adventure segment of motorcycling has really got some momentum at the moment, and with machines like this that are a perfect blend of excitement and practicality, it's no wonder really.
Okay, so here we are, test riding the 2015 MT-09 Tracer. The MT-09 Tracer is slightly larger than the normal MT-09, a little bit more suspension travel, higher suspension. You've got a larger fuel tank, you've got 18 litres instead of 14 litres on the standard MT-09. The dash here, you've got the one from the Yamaha Tenere, the Super Tenere, instead of the normal MT-09 dash. So the other differences between the Tracer and the standard MT-09 are that there's a little bit more cockpit room, a little bit more room between the handlebars and yourself in the seat, and the handlebars are a little bit higher for a more upright seating position, and you can also stand a little bit easier. So you've also got the hand guards with the MT-09 Tracer. Whoa, it takes off fairly easily. A little bit of throttle and just boom, and took off from underneath me. Oh yeah, I like it so far. Looks like we might get a little bit of rain on this test ride, hopefully not. But so the Tracer comes standard with panniers, so it's a bit more of a touring setup than your standard MT-09, which is more of a naked bike for hitting the twisties. You can still do all that on this, and a bit of a hoon bike. Let's see how it handles the bumps. Hey, it handles the speed humps quite well. A bit more suspension trouble than these guys on the sports bikes who are gingerly going over them or going around them. This isn't too bad, not quite as forgiving as my V-Strom is over the speed humps. It's very nimble, as you'd expect from an MT-09. The Tracer is pretty much as nimble as the standard one, I imagine. And here comes the rain. It's going to be a bit of a shame I can't give it a real gutful in the dry roads, but take it a little bit easier. So the last bike that I rode that was similar to this was the 2013 SZ8N Yamaha, which you will see on the link on the screen right now if you want to. And this feels very similar in the braking and the stance of it, the seating position, everything else like that feels very similar to that. So you got three different modes on this one. At the moment I'm in standard mode, and you've got A mode, which is full blown out awesome mode apparently. A is for awesome, and you've got B, which is for boring. So A is your typical race mode.
Yes, as you can probably tell, I quite like the acceleration from the Tracer in standard mode. I didn't give it all I could give it either. The bike could have went a lot harder if I had let it. It was at this point that I was thinking I would not even bother testing it in A mode, which is a more aggressive mode, seeing as it was wet, but as you'll see later on, I couldn't help myself.
Feeling a lot of wind buffeting on the helmet. With the naked bikes I've ridden in the past, you cop it on the chest, but this little screen here is a pretty flimsy little thing. It's flopping around all over the place, but it is hitting me here pretty much in the head. So apologies for any of the audio if it's a little bit noisy.
Cruising in top gear at 100 km an hour, the tacho was sitting at around 4,000 RPM, which felt quite nice. I then dropped it back to 5th gear, which felt like better gear in the winding hills that I was riding at the time. And at 100 km an hour, that lifted the RPM to 4,500.
So these things have plenty of torque. Low down grunt is great, even at low revs in the higher gears. Just a little bit of a twist of the throttle and it pulls back out fairly smoothly. shame about this rain. I'd really love to test this in the dry, see what the bike's all about. This is okay though, it feels like it's got plenty of grip. I haven't had a look at the tyres to see what they are, but plenty of confidence in the corners. It feels great.
Yep, the feeling that this bike has in the corners was impressive to me. It seemed to stick to the line without the suspension trouble and slight bouncing that my current V-Strom gets in the corners. I reckon it would be a great touring bike, but I'm not sure how it would stack up against my current V-Strom when it came to the handling of a load or riding with some slight gravel. Two things that my V-Strom does very well. I'm sure it'll be fine though. According to Yamaha, the traction control does actually help the Tracer when it comes to riding on gravel roads, but I didn't get to test that.
The braking is superb. It's a bit clunky shifting down gears, but that could be just me not being so used to it. Let's see if we can change modes. Oh, A mode? No, let's go to B mode. Let's see what it's like in B mode. So I've just changed to B mode and I'll see what it's like in what is supposed to be rain mode. See how that goes. Very nimble, very light, turning around in this tight and twisty area. Feels good. I like it so far. It's really comfortable seating position. Very smooth, very comfortable. And heaps of power. Plenty of power for me. So that there is what I rode last year, the KTM Superduke 1290. If you need to see me test riding that and screaming like a little girl, go and click on the screen right now. So I'm not really sure I need to put this thing in A mode. It's got plenty of power for me in standard mode. If I owned one, I probably wouldn't even use the A mode, to be totally honest. Maybe I'm a little bit too sensible, a little bit too old, not willing to take risks as much as the next person. Maybe my skill level's not there. I don't think I'll test out the A mode today in the wet though. I'll stick with the B, see how that goes, see how that compares to the standard mode. The thing I think I would prefer is the mode button being on the left rather than the right. But I guess you've got to back off the throttle anyway for it to work, so it's not too bad to just reach over there with your thumb and grab that and push it sideways. I was trying to press it down before and I couldn't get it to work, but you've got to push it sideways. Standard, A, B. See how it goes in B. Yeah, there's definitely nowhere near as much power in B mode when you accelerate, but it's still pretty good. There's nothing shabby, there's nothing boring about that.
I found the MT-09 Tracer to be extremely light and very nimble and responsive. Throwing the bike from side to side with the slightest of pushes on the handlebars was almost effortless.
What do you reckon? Should I test out A mode coming out of this intersection in the wet? Why not? I'm going to have to be careful because this thing could be a dangerous beast in A mode. The reach to the ground is quite good. It's not overly tall. It's a little bit taller than the standard MT-09, but still quite good. Still quite comfortable for me. I'm not going to rip on the throttle until I get around through this intersection, just in case I do a big wheelie or something stupid. A mode, here we go. Oh, A mode definitely is awesome. That makes a huge difference. I'll put it back to standard mode for the next person just in case they take off their first ride on it and they just shit themselves completely. Best to start off in standard. Even B mode would be quite sufficient. B mode was pretty good. It was not bad at all. The power was definitely down. You could definitely feel it didn't have as much power, but it still had a lot more power than say my 650cc V-Strom. This thing is 849 cc's of pure delight. It's a grin maker, that's for sure. It'll make you grin, it'll make you smile. It's good to just throw around in the twisties. You just love it for that. It's a perfect bike for that, I reckon. I'd have a ball in the twisties on this. But it's also good for touring. It's just so comfortable. I don't know what the seat would feel like after an hour or two in the seat, but at the moment it's quite firm, it's quite comfortable, it feels good. The wind noise might get to me on the highway or something, but that might get to you a little bit after a while. An aftermarket touring screen is available for these, so the mirrors are good. They seem small at first, but they're not too bad. You can definitely see everything I need to see in them. Got a nice grunty sound from it, and the tiny little shorty exhaust coming out the side underneath. Overall, first impressions are that this is a great bike. You will not go wrong. I think the going price is about $14,990 or something like that, and that is about $4,000 more than the standard MT-09, but you've got the larger tank, you've got the panniers thrown in. It's got a few more extra bonuses. I like it. It's a bit awkward to get to the stand, but you get used to that. That is quite nice. See how that just sits out there? It's a little bit sort of ugly, it's on its own. It looks like there should be something else there. It looks like it should be tucked up there a little bit more rather than sitting out there on its own, but once you've got the panniers on there, it'll probably sort of fit in a little bit more, complete it.